The future's here. Traffic, pollution, environmental degradation, endless noise on the streets. That's not the future I imagined. I thought it was going to be a lot cooler. You know, robots and spaceships and lightsabers. What happened? See that Walmart parking lot? Pretty empty compared to Christmas time. It seems like such a waste that we've covered so much of the beauty of our world with concrete, just for cars. All these fast food restaurants and big box stores are within a 10-minute walk from my house. But I've got to admit, it's so tempting to drive. Walking? That's not an option. It makes me feel like a second-class citizen. I need to do my part to be a good consumer, a good citizen. If I want to really be exceptional, I can go through 2 drive-thrus back to back. Now listening to us order, it's like a well-rehearsed ballet. Everyone knows their part, everyone knows what's on the menu board. We've done this way too many times.
Do we want to go right around to the next one then?
Yeah.
Okay. Yeah.
How convenient, isn't it?
I love it and I hate it at the same time.
Now we can get more junk food. What does everyone want?
Wait a second. How is this good? What's the real value? Are we helping to increase growth in a theoretically limitless society? Other than the expansion of the universe, I don't think there's such thing as unlimited growth, particularly economic growth. Rather than living in an imaginary future, and then crashing and burning due to lack of resources, I'd rather live more sustainably. My family and I needed to see the bigger picture, to get the wider view. From space, the Earth's still pretty healthy looking. That doesn't really mean we believe that the course of human behavior is on the right track. And we needed to make some changes for ourselves. We came up with a few simple goals. We needed to live more sustainably. We had to be closer to nature. Most of all, we wanted to feel like we were part of a community, not a commuter-ty. Okay, bad made-up word, but you get the point. It turned out a really good candidate to answer all 3 of those goals was just right next door to where we lived. Nestled in the middle of the Fraser Valley in British Columbia, not far from where we lived, we encountered the small town of Yarrow, first settled by Mennonites in the 1920s after the drainage of Sumas Lake. This small farming community between the foot of Vedder Mountain and Vedder River gained our attention when we first read online about the Yarrow Ecovillage.
You drive by the mountain road there and they can see through the field, and they end up turning around, coming back, some of these people, and like coming in here and like, we saw this crazy building in the field and we were wondering what it was. Is it like an agricultural building? What is it? No, it's my house.
This is Shane and his wife Cher. Shane's definitely one of those practical dreamers. He's building his own home, best described as an above-ground hobbit home.
When it's your own house. So we've been working through our list, and I had all these hopes and aspirations for all these artistic aspects of the house. And although those are still there, it's still, I'm just trying to get her done now.
I was finishing grad school and it seemed like a end of something. And Shane had an opportunity to do a pottery apprenticeship in Saskatchewan. Shane had gone to Emily Carr for sculpture and pottery and had left it behind to help put me through school. So I was done school and here was this opportunity. We bought a house, everything. We had our first child and then our second child. And when our kids were outside playing with the neighbors who had kids the same ages as ours, our kids would be like, hi, wanting to play. And the neighbor would call her kids in and they would go inside. So even though there was kids next door, our kids weren't allowed to play with them. And our neighbors, we didn't have a sense of community with our neighbors, so then it was getting into the van and driving places to go see people, which didn't seem right. And it just didn't seem like we could participate in normal North American culture and be true to our ethics. So we put our house up for sale, and I thought it would be a nice long time, and I'd have a long time to get used to this idea. And our house sold within 15 minutes of being listed.
I moved here as a resident, but I also had a job with the Ecovillage to research natural building and types of houses that might be appropriate in an Ecovillage.
We actually moved here to move to a job, and Shane was supposed to be helping move the garrison houses from the garrison in Chilliwack, the old CFB Chilliwack base, and move them over here.
We ended up finding a dome package because they're CNC cut outside shells. We found one of those for a really, really good price. It was supposed to go to Mongolia, and there was a problem with the shipping in the Chinese government, and so they got stuck with these 3 homes sitting inside the warehouse that they had to unload.
Yeah. We moved, lived in a share house, then moved to a place that we renovated, and then moved back to the farmhouse while Shane built the cordwood house and then this house. So it's been 5 years of building.
I can actually feel like we're close now, so I'm keen on getting done now. 2 weeks ago it was an endless list. Now I can see the end of the tunnel.
Welcome everybody to the nth community meeting. I don't know how many we've had.
Let's not forget that this is a village, not just one family. Every single one of them has their own story.
That when we speak in this community meeting, we speak as community members rather than as individuals.
And community is what defines the Yarrow Ecovillage. Despite its name and original concept as a planned community based around ecological sustainable living and permaculture-based farming, all laudable goals for environmentally conscious folk like myself, the people of the Yarrow Ecovillage have started to build for another, less talked about form of sustainability, social sustainability. They are constructing a community based on the Danish model known as co-housing with the help of U.S. architect Chuck Durrett.
He wanted it to meet the needs, and he asked us, what are your goals for the village? And we said, close family connections, places for kids to play, things for teens to do, going on gracefully here, all those things.
This is Anne. She's an artist. And she's also a member of the Yarrow Ecovillage membership committee. In that role, one of her responsibilities is explaining to interested newcomers what living on an ecovillage is all about.
These ones, there was like a ladder.
Oh, check out the old phone. That's so great.
So what's the plan for this space then?
We don't have a
Ultimately.
plan right
Yeah,
now. We're
right.
just going to enjoy it ourselves until we figure out how to use it.
Use it, right.
It's just a great resource, and we
Oh,
know
yeah,
that
for
below farmers market we can
Yeah.
manage.
Yeah.
Seems like it's a good idea.
Yeah.
Barn dances.
Totally barn dances.
I think so.
Exactly.
Why do you have any religious bent
We don't.
or specific spiritual bent?
No.
It's not a integral part of the, I mean, obviously community, nature, eco, but there's no Christian
there's no formal religious
Okay.
connection
Okay.
between people, but there is, certainly people have spiritual beliefs
Yes.
that
But
bring
not-
them to this situation,
Yes,
but aren't.
of course, but it's not integral to the actual
No.
society.
No, we have quite a
That's
wide
good because
religious
I'm not really that
practices.
interested in
Yeah.
forming large circles and holding hands.
This is what we have.
Just isn't
we
me,
came up with.
despite the fact that
Some of it
I used
is
to
not
have
written in
long
stone,
hair.
especially this part down here, because these are firm plants for these houses.
Mm-hmm.
So, at the heart of the village is the common house.
Mm-hmm.
That's so that all houses orient and can see what's for dinner.
Right.
Basically, we're food oriented here. So you come home from work and you go into the common house and you collect your mail, and then you see somebody who's got skis and you say, well, are you going skiing? Can I go with you? Or can I borrow your skis? Or, you know, the kind of connection that happens in community. And then you can go home to private homes. So like this one, I have autonomy here in my home. I own it. It's my space. So I have this balance between what I want to go out and do in the community and what I want to do here in my own home. So among here we've put in children's places. We had various considerations of for little kids and bigger kids and how we wanted, you know, a dirt hill. We want the kind of growing up that maybe some of us had, which was climbing trees, playing in mud, you know, going to the creek. We want that here.
Provide that for kids, yeah.
And we also want adult amenities, so hot tub, brick, an outdoor brick oven for pizza or baking bread.
Great. So exciting.
Imagine.
Right.
As long as there's no Kool-Aid, I'll probably love it.
To me, he's making it possible.
I can still opt out though, right? I can
Otherwise,
hide in my own house when I need to be away from people, because I need to do that once in a while. I spent some time talking to Nevin, a newcomer to the Ecovillage, who works part-time at the Yarrow Deli, which is owned by the Ecovillage, and also spends the rest of his time working on his new farm.
Well, we had watched kind of what was going on, what they were doing, and it really started to appeal to us. It was a lifestyle that just kind of seemed to really appeal. So, that kind of, I guess, between wanting to see good food in the restaurants and in the markets and seeing what they were doing kind of gave me the incentive. And then once I started doing it, I realized this is what I want to do. I can spend all day on the farm and not even feel like it's work. No, we got 80% organic seed. The rest is certified non-GMO.
Of course, Nevin, like every other pioneer, has to deal with the challenges of nature. And in Yarrow, and in making this film, the first challenge comes from strong winds.
If we're lucky, it stopped there. Yeah. It kind of hit that wood and crumpled as soon as it hit that wood. But if that wood hadn't been there, it would have just kept on going right into Michael and Suzanne's house, which would have been pretty devastating. And that's what I was worried about. Our greenhouse it lifted up 2 feet on one side. And, you know, if this goes.
There was a machine building up the front. We put a huge rubber tarp over for a temporary roof. And the guy I was building it with, he says, oh yeah, I think the wind will be fine. We'll just tack it down around the edges. And I got up one morning and it was windy out. And I could see this tarp. It was 75 feet long and 30 feet wide. It's a huge sail. And the wind got it underneath it and it lifted up the one side. So when I looked out, it was 30 feet up into the air off the top of the billow. It like billowing like a sail like this.
This flexed right down. It was here.
That far?
It flexed right in.
And it bounced back?
No, it stayed. It bent it right. Like the wind just kept hammering on that side. Just boom, 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 and it bent it right down. I spent a couple hours trying to bend a few pieces back, and yeah. Well, it was $400 setback and about a week of work. So that's not that bad.
This is what the wind does here. You never know what it's going to do here. It might be a really easy year with wind, and then all of a sudden, just one day, it'll pick up and lift things off the ground and throw them around.
Down there, Wowie. Shauna was in here that night trying to prop up the edges here with wood. When she saw having Joel's greenhouse rip out of the ground and boom, boom. It was quite something, she said. She didn't know whether or not to run, to scream, to hide. But, because if that greenhouse had hit our greenhouse with her inside here, that would have been bad.
You just can't tell when it's coming, though. It's crazy.
It's not happening?
No. Even though I emailed over a month ago and said, okay, we want to move in. Is all of the paperwork in order? Is there anything that needs to be done? Can I be doing that now? And it was all supposedly fine because didn't hear anything and they were going to show up. And then I called or emailed yesterday to confirm again that they were coming and that all the paperwork was done. And lo and behold, this morning, half an hour before they were supposed to be here, apparently we don't have all the paperwork.
We're moving in come hell or high water. We're gonna squat in our own house.
Between the wind destroying the new greenhouse and delays in the approval and construction process, there always will be hurdles to overcome.
Right. This has been a lot more work than I anticipated.
I asked some of the residents why they are or want to live here, and I found something that we had in common.
Come out of curiosity and interest in people who are trying to do better in life.
What brought me here is a lot of things, probably like potential, the community, the farm, the watershed.
This is my tribe. We're 50% wildly romantic and we're 50% wildly practical. So, we're gonna buy internet in bulk and make a new society. I feel good.
What brought Bill and I here was the fact that we could actually have a community.
I'm drawn here by the community.
It's a vibrant community.
Just searching out community, and I think I've found it here, and as well for farming.
I'm here because I'm really committed to an open heart.
It turned out that the biggest single reason people were looking to live here were to share in the sense of community. Sustainability, farming, these were all strong influences. But the real glue holding together the Ecovillage is people. And as they grow and build more homes, maybe the rest of us can learn a thing or two about living as a community. For residents like Anne, Cher, Shane, and Nevin, there's a pioneering spirit. There's a shared value that together, people can take back their fate, grow together, play together, and live together. Is this for me? For my family? I still don't know. I think compared to what I have right now, in the suburbs, with all the cars and the noise, I really think I might just be able to call the Yarrow Ecovillage my home.